Non-playable characters, or NPCs for short. They are little people who live in your video games, always friendly and always there for you to talk to. Without NPCs, a game would feel too terribly lonely. And like any game, Super Mario 64 has its share of NPCs. Borrowing from the Mario universe, we have the Toads. Though there are not that many present in the game, you can find them scattered throughout the castle. And like many things in Super Mario 64, there are many anomalies surrounding the Toad. And so this time, we're going to be reading the MIPS Whole Wiki article on Toad. Enjoy! Toad. Toad is a recurring character and species in the Super Mario series. They are the citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom and faithful understudies of Princess Peach. They will often assist Mario on his adventures to stop the evil Bowser, although most of them show cowardice in the heat of danger. In Super Mario 64, Bowser traps the Toads in the castle walls, and only a few Toads appear in the rooms to assist Mario. 3 Toads will grant Mario a star for talking to them, having hidden them from Bowser's clutches. Theorizing. Trapped inside the castle walls. Many Toads allude to being trapped inside the castle walls by Bowser. However, nobody knows what this means for sure. Many theories have been proposed, such as the Toads being turned into blocks by Bowser and literally turned into the castle walls, as this has happened before according to the manual of the original Super Mario Bros. This would also explain why the architecture of the castle is so bizarre, as rooms were blocked off and rearranged due to the Toads being used to reshape the castle. Alternatively, some say that Toads are trapped in a hollow space in between the castle walls by Bowser, as they were getting in the way of his conquest. Only some Toads escaped, being the ones seen in the game. However, some say that those Toads are also trapped, citing them fading away as you walk away, meaning they could potentially just be some kind of magic to project into the castle as they talk to the player. This has been nicknamed Toad Projection by the Iceberg. Notably, it's also a common theory that Princess Peach was sealed behind the stained glass seen in the castle grounds, which is built off this idea of Toads being literally trapped inside the castle walls. Another theory believed by many is that when they say they are trapped inside the castle walls, Bowser either used the stars' power to seal them inside of the castle so they couldn't find the power stars in the paintings themselves, as Toads have occasionally helped Mario as playable characters throughout the Super Mario Bros. Series, or due to Bowser locking the doors to all of the floors, as the Toads were stuck in those floors as they couldn't leave, and being trapped inside the castle walls is just a bizarre way of phrasing it. Phenomena. Quinn. Main article, Quinn. Quinn is an anomalous yellow toad that can supposedly be found in some personalized copies of Super Mario 64. They typically have gibberish dialogue that gradually gets more coherence, but can also foreshadow events that the player will later discover in other levels, such as hidden bouts of dynamic level rearrangement mentioned in Quinn's dialogue before the player finds them. A reported sighting of Quinn. Original character, do not steal. Enemy Toads. Main article, Enemy Toads. In some personalized copies, there are types of Toads that can be aggressive to the player, typically having black spots, but several variants exist with several other designs. This is an interesting phenomenon, as there are a few cases of this occurring with any other character, and due to Toads being passive characters, it's debated whether or not to classify this as enemy discoloring or not. Notably, an anomaly known as the Prisoner appears to be a specific instance of enemy Toads manifesting, but is also unique enough to be classified as its own anomaly. Star Toads. According to some who have encountered the internal clock, when it is nighttime, Toads will have stars on their heads instead of dots. This typically occurs alongside changes to the castle's appearance to match the current time of day. These Toads typically have new dialogue, usually mentioning the changes to the game made by the personalization AI based off the internal clock. Notably, Star Toads has also been reported to appear in the anomalous Star Road area. Dialogue phenomena. According to many players, toads had their dialogue change. This phenomenon is rather widespread and inconsistent, and some have minor dialogue changes while others have entirely new and previously unseen dialogue. Similarly to Quinn, this new dialogue typically references changes to the game, such as new ways to access levels or anomalous levels in general. However, it can also be entirely mundane, such as Toads just being glad Mario is there and giving exposition on the game's story, which can notably reveal that the personalization AI has changed its idea of the game's story, which usually aligns with other anomalies such as alternate endings, alternate campaigns, or mass game retheming. This page is a part of the Super Mario 64 DS canon, a piece of canon revolving around a unique version of the personalization AI found in Super Mario 64 DS. Ally with Info. Main article, Ally with Info. In Super Mario 64 DS, a toad on the second floor tells the player to look for an ally with info within the mirror room. It's important to note that this is said with every character, including Wario, who is unlocked within the mirror room, meaning that Toad isn't referring to Wario, and it cannot be a simple translation error. There have been several theories to this mysterious ally's identity, as well as reports of anomalous NPCs that fit the description of this ally with info. Playable Toad. For a currently unknown reason, several players have reported a playable Toad in Super Mario 64 DS. Their abilities are typically a mixture of other characters, such as Luigi's Scuttle Jump, Mario's Wall Jumping, and even Waluigi's Speed. Their Power Flower ability is inconsistent, with some saying it's simply borrowed from another character, some saying it allows them to walk up walls, and some even saying they can use spores to spawn large mushrooms that can be used as platforms. Notably, these large mushrooms have been spawned by Toads in other games. This playable Toad is most commonly unlocked in a level known as Traitor Toad Tussle, an abandoned castle floor of some kind. Why this anomaly occurs is unknown, as there is nothing to hint of a Toad being an unused playable character, but there is also no known motivation for the AI to entirely create a playable Toad. Notably, their passive abilities being a mix of other characters seems to suggest that their ability was either unfinished, or the AI couldn't make its own ability, depending on which force created it. Ally with Info. You know, in my iceberg video, I had originally claimed that it was Wario who was the ally with info, and that what we saw really was an error in dialogue, that it would be easy just to mistakenly copy and paste the dialogue across all four characters. But let's see what the Ally with Info article has to say, and then I'll give another theory about who this Ally with Info can be. Enjoy. Ally with Info. This page is a part of the Super Mario 64 DS canon, a piece of canon revolving around a unique version of the personalization AI found in Super Mario 64 DS. In Super Mario 64 DS, a Toad mentions that there is an ally with info within the mirror room of Princess Peach's castle the player should find. This dialogue occurs even with Wario, who is unlocked within the mirror room. Several theories have arisen about this supposed ally's identity and what info they hold, leading to the discovery of personalized experiences with the ally with info in question. Description. This section details numerous potential identities of the ally with info, including theoretical explanations created by those who have not encountered such an entity. Lakitu Bro. The most commonly accepted explanation to this dialogue. If one is to enter the mirror room, the Lakitu filming the player can be seen reflected. They are considered an ally to the player character, and occasionally give the player tutorial in levels such as Whomp's Fortress, leading many to believe that they are the ally with info. However, they do not have any specific info within the mirror room, and follow the player into other areas, so why they'd be specified to be in the mirror room is unknown. However, in some personalized copies, they do tell the player upon entering the mirror room, usually saying that the mirror looks fishy, hinting at the player being able to pass through it. Power flowers. Another common theory is that the ally with info, or rather allies, are the power flowers within the mirror room. When playing as Luigi, they allow the player to pass through the mirror, helping the player. In the Mario universe, several plants are sentient, so it is not a stretch to say that power flowers might be as well. This has led some to believing that they are the ally with info, with the info in question being allowing the player through the mirror. Toad. In some reports, a toad can be found behind the mirror, usually in the main room, but sometimes in the white room as well as even in the negative world. When in the negative world, they appear inverted and have reversed or jumbled dialogue. They usually give the player a power star, tips on how to access hidden levels or clear missions and courses, or just story exposition on Bowser's invasion. Ally. Ally is a unique NPC that has only been reported as the ally with info. They appear as a black silhouette with green eyes, a gray hat, and a matching gray trench coat covering their body. Some say that a name tag says Ally, or even one of the names crossed out with the other name written below it. Ally usually acts the same as a toad that qualifies as an ally with info, but can also reportedly give the player side quests, such as talking to specific toads in a specific order, or accomplishing a task somewhere in a level. For example, this kind of side quest would require defeating every enemy or completing multiple missions in one session without actually collecting the stars. The reward is usually extra power stars, but some say Ally can unlock an anomalous level, an anomalous minigame, or even a new playable character. Theorizing. It is believed that the ally with info was not referring to the Lakitu or the Power Flowers, and instead one of the anomalous examples. This dialogue is likely a remnant from the negative world's inclusion, as it can appear behind the mirror and contain unique NPCs, including some mentioned in this page. After it was removed, the developers likely forgot to change the Toad's dialogue, leaving this ally with info as an unsolved mystery for the players of Super Mario 64 DS to speculate about. Now, my own theory on this. Now, I know I said in the iceberg video that I thought Wario was the ally with info, but I no longer believe that's the case. I now believe that the ally with info that Toad is referring to is Luigi. Think about it. What does the Toad say? Look for anything that is not reflected in the mirror and an ally with info. Any particular ally that we need in order to get to Wario? Perhaps one with the know-how to get to Wario through the mirror? That ally would have to be someone that we pick up beforehand. And you can't unlock Wario without having unlocked Luigi first. This is a hint in the game that in order to get to Wario, you must first get to Luigi. So the ally with info that they're talking about is to seek out Luigi before you go to Wario. I know that's not entirely satisfactory. There's the whole fact the dialogue doesn't change between characters, but I don't think it needs to. It's just saying to look for an ally that can help with this particular situation, whether you already have them, are already playing as them, or not. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about who the ally with info could be in the comments. Is it anyone mentioned in this video, or could it be someone else? Who knows? Maybe the ally with info was Smile Dog this whole time. Imagine that. Anyway, bye. Hey, did you like this video? If you did, then I got good news for you. I have a lot of videos like this one, an entire playlist for you to listen to if you so choose. And while you're at it, I also have a blog that I want you to look at. The link is in the description. Enjoy the playlist and enjoy my blog. Thank you very much.